The crowded charity hall fell completely silent when poor maid Naomi stopped in front of a giant family portrait and whispered, "Why is my mother beside you?" Billionaire Victor Blackwood suddenly dropped his wine glass onto the marble floor, while hundreds of wealthy guests stared at the frightened young maid silently. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from, because tonight's mystery will shock you deeply. The old security guard near the ballroom entrance recognized Naomi's face instantly and nervously stepped backward as if the past had returned after many years. Naomi's trembling hands pointed toward the smiling woman inside the portrait, while Victor's face slowly lost all color under the golden chandelier lights. Just that morning, Naomi had arrived at Blackwood Mansion for her first cleaning shift after struggling for years inside a poor neighborhood across the city. Inside the servant kitchen, Naomi quietly washed expensive dishes while hearing workers praise Victor as a genius billionaire loved by powerful businessmen everywhere. Meanwhile, Victor remained alone inside his private office, avoiding guests while staring at an old silver necklace hidden inside his locked desk drawer carefully. That same afternoon, Naomi discovered the portrait hanging inside the mansion hallway and instantly recognized the woman who raised her before dying suddenly years ago. Inside the empty parking garage, later that night, Victor sat silently inside his black luxury car, while Naomi's heartbreaking question echoed endlessly inside his mind. The silent parking garage smelled of gasoline and cold concrete, while Victor sat frozen inside his car, unable to erase Naomi's terrified voice from memory. Upstairs inside the mansion hallway, Naomi secretly returned to the portrait and noticed the corner of the frame carried her mother's real signature clearly. The security guard approached Naomi carefully and warned her to stop asking questions because powerful people inside the mansion protected dangerous secrets for decades. Naomi refused to walk away because her dying mother once whispered the name Blackwood moments before taking her final breath inside a tiny clinic room. Meanwhile, Victor locked himself inside his luxury office and opened the hidden drawer containing dozens of old photographs tied with faded hospital papers carefully. One picture showed a younger Victor standing beside Naomi's mother outside a public hospital, while both smiled like two people deeply connected in the past. Victor suddenly remembered the terrible night he abandoned her years ago after his wealthy father threatened to destroy her life and ruin his future forever. At a crowded city cafe nearby, Naomi searched old newspaper records online and discovered her mother once worked as a private nurse for the Blackwoods. The discovery made Naomi realize her mother had hidden an entire life from her, while struggling alone inside poverty after suddenly disappearing from the mansion. Late that same night, Victor drove toward the poor neighborhood where Naomi lived, unaware that the truth waiting there would destroy his pride completely. Victor's black luxury car moved slowly through the narrow, broken streets while shocked neighbors stared at the billionaire entering Naomi's poor neighborhood alone. Inside her tiny apartment, Naomi sat beside her sick grandmother while holding the old portrait photo she secretly printed from the mansion hallway earlier tonight. A loud knock suddenly echoed through the weak wooden door, and Naomi froze when she opened it and saw Victor standing silently outside under streetlights. Her grandmother recognized Victor instantly and nearly dropped her medicine bottle, while painful memories returned to her tired eyes after many silent years. Victor stepped inside the cramped apartment and looked around at the leaking ceiling, cracked walls, and tiny kitchen where Naomi had struggled her entire life. The billionaire's expensive shoes stood on the same worn floor where Naomi's mother once promised her daughter would never beg anyone for kindness or help. Naomi angrily demanded answers about the portrait while Victor struggled to speak, his voice shaking harder with every painful memory returning to his mind. Meanwhile, the grandmother slowly opened an old metal box hidden beneath the bed and removed faded letters tied together with a blue hospital ribbon. One letter revealed Victor and Naomi's mother planned to marry secretly years ago, before Victor's powerful father forced them apart using threats and money. As silence filled the apartment painfully, Victor finally whispered the truth Naomi never expected, admitting he had loved her mother more than his own life. Naomi stepped backward in disbelief after hearing Victor's confession, while the tiny apartment suddenly felt too small for the painful truth between them. Her grandmother handed Victor another hidden letter, proving Naomi's mother waited outside Blackwood Mansion for weeks before disappearing from his life completely. Victor's trembling hands opened the final envelope and discovered a hospital report revealing Naomi's mother died, believing he had abandoned her willingly forever. Meanwhile, Naomi fought tears while realizing her mother spent years protecting Victor's name instead of exposing the powerful family that destroyed her happiness completely. Inside the apartment kitchen, Victor silently stared at the broken sink and empty cabinets, while guilt crushed the pride he carried for decades publicly. For the first time in years, the billionaire admitted his father paid doctors and guards to keep him away after Naomi's mother became seriously ill suddenly. Naomi angrily accused Victor of choosing wealth over love, and the words hit harder than every business scandal he had survived during his career. That same night, Victor returned to Blackwood Mansion and walked directly into his late father's private study, hidden behind the massive library walls upstairs. Inside the locked room, Victor discovered old recordings and signed documents proving his father destroyed Naomi's mother to protect the Blackwood family reputation publicly. As dawn slowly rose across the city skyline, Victor made a painful decision that would either redeem his soul forever or destroy his empire completely. The next morning, reporters crowded outside Blackwood Tower after Victor announced an emergency public conference that shocked the entire business world instantly. Inside the massive hall, Naomi stood nervously beside the stage while cameras flashed everywhere and wealthy investors whispered about the billionaire's strange behavior. Victor walked toward the microphone slowly and confessed how his powerful family destroyed the woman he loved because she came from such a poor background. The room fell completely silent when Victor publicly revealed Naomi's mother's photograph behind him and admitted his own cowardice ruined innocent lives forever. Meanwhile, Naomi watched thousands of strangers listening carefully as Victor accepted responsibility for abandoning her mother during her darkest painful years alone. Victor then announced Blackwood Mansion would become a free medical charity center named after Naomi's mother, so poor families could receive proper treatment respectfully. Outside the building afterward, ordinary workers, nurses, and struggling families gathered around Naomi with tears because her mother's forgotten story finally received justice publicly. Later that evening, Victor quietly visited the small cemetery where Naomi's mother rested, while Naomi stood beside him without speaking a single word softly. Some mistakes can destroy years of love, but truth and courage still have the power to heal broken hearts before life ends completely forever. For the first time in many years, Victor placed flowers on her grave and apologized honestly for the fear, silence, and pain he caused forever. The story ends here, but some secrets continue changing lives forever. Like, subscribe, and return for another unforgettable emotional journey waiting ahead tomorrow.